Why did I move into my minivan 7 years ago? Why did I do it? Because I've lived in a minivan for a little bit longer than 7 years now. And what were these steps that I took to get inside of a minivan as my home on wheels, and completely let go of all my belongings and let go of a bricks and sticks, a home, a house, and to live inside of a vehicle? Yeah, what was the catalyst that got me in here? Well, I made just some coffee. I really did. This is my second cup. I don't know why my voice all of a sudden is a little scratchy. Sorry about that. So cheers. Maybe this will, So calm down my throat just a little bit. I'm hoping to make this a very relaxing video. Not too much excitement gonna go on, okay? I'm at a wildlife refuge. I'm out in the forest right now. And I've walked around just a little bit, and I'll let you see some of the footage of what I'm seeing around here. And I can still talk to you while you watch it, okay? So, 7 years ago, approximately, I decided that the time was right, that I was going to move into a minivan. I knew I wanted a minivan, but let me go back even further. I would say probably about 5 years before that happened, my daughter turned me on to Bob Wells. She goes, "Mom, you got to see this video." So I watched it, and then I subscribed to his channel, and I started watching some of his videos, and especially the van tours. You know, I can't even remember which person did live in a minivan. Is it Boxcar D, who before that she was just D, but now she has a YouTube channel, Boxcar D, and she's pretty darn cool. I actually met her. She's so nice. I met her at an RTR, but I remember watching her. She was the most impressive to me, but I'm not sure, did she even have a minivan? I think maybe she did. Well, anyways, I loved the minivan. I thought, I think that's what I want. And I was seeing videos on build-outs, non-build-outs. And, actually, let me go back and correct that. I don't think I saw too many no build-outs. They mostly had build-outs. What they would do is they would have a platform. And that way, and you could store things under the platform, and then they would put like a memory foam mattress on top of it. They would cut it to the right size, and they would usually use wood to build out the platform for your bed. Well, in my mind, I looked at it all and I thought, wait a minute, there wouldn't be a lot of room to sit down like I like to sit down. This is the way I like to live. I have a no build. But most of the minivans had the build outs. And then they would have dresser over here. And I thought, well, where are they going to sit inside their minivan? Where are they literally going to sit? There was only enough space that you could like scooch in between like the bins and the bed. And that didn't appeal to me. I want to actually relax, like I'm relaxing now. I can relax inside of my minivan. And so I knew, I must have seen a no build out, because I remember saying that's what I want. I do not want to build up a bed frame or anything like that. Well, I did meet somebody about 2 years after becoming a nomad. I met somebody who did the build out in his van. And within like 2 months, he tore it all out. He said it was horrible. He did not like it at all. But if you if you have like bad knees or you have bad legs or you're just not as agile as you used to be when you were younger, yeah, I mean, the build out's going to be fine for you because it's going to be easier for you. So anyways, I knew I did not want to build out. And I knew I was going to eventually do it. I just knew. I knew that was in my future. I could vision myself doing this and traveling and living inside a minivan. And you know what? But previously I never had a minivan. I just had a sedan. I always had sedans. I think when my husband and I, when the children were small, we did have a station wagon. Remember station wagons? Well, so I never even had a minivan, but I figured it would probably be perfect. I just imagined it would be. So, yeah. So I knew that's what I wanted. And I knew it was going to happen. I already knew in my mind it was going to happen. I had no doubt in my mind. But I didn't know when. So my daughter lived next to me. And we lived there a good 15 years. So during that time, she remarried. They both were going to school. And when he graduated, he was putting in applications. He's a chemical engineer. And he got a job offer in Cincinnati, Ohio. So he took it. My daughter was not really happy about it. I mean, she was glad that everything was going his way. But she didn't really want to go, but she knew that was her destiny. She had to go. Well, after she moved out, I mean, she was devastated. I mean, she grew up in Tucson. Her siblings were there. Her mother was there. And it wasn't easy for her. So something clicked in my head. And it said, she's no longer living beside me. And I really miss my granddaughter. She was 2 years old at the time. And I spent so much time with her. Oh, my gosh. Because my son-in-law had to go and do some internships right after she was born. And so I felt like I was almost like the third parent to her. So we were very, very close. Well, it just didn't seem the same with them gone. And I figured it would be a good idea to get my minivan and get going in the lifestyle, the nomad life, van life. That way I could go and visit her and then come back and I could travel back and forth the country, which I ended up doing. And so everything worked out pretty good. But I knew in the meantime, my daughter said that she could really use some help in Cincinnati. So they bought a big home, and they bought it with me in mind that the basement, the bottom level, was all remodeled, and I could stay there when I needed to. So what I did was I think it was in September, I flew out. I wanted to see what the circumstances were. So I flew there. Everything looked really copacetic. And within like 3 days, I flew back. I looked in the paper. I looked online, and there was a minivan. It was waiting for me. And so I called him. It was on a Sunday. I called him, and he says, "Well, let me get back to you later." Well, I guess everybody was bothering him on this minivan. Oh my gosh. It was on Craigslist. Well, he called me back that night and said, "If you want to see the minivan, I'll meet you here and you can look at it." And he said, I wanted to go with you because you did not bother me all day long. I guess people really wanted to see it. It was a good price. And they wanted to see it, but they just kept calling him and bothering him. So I was the one, I just waited because I knew I was waiting for his signal that if it didn't work out, then it didn't work out and it wasn't meant for me. Right. So I went and looked at it, drove it, $3,600. It was a 2004 and I believe it had 145,000 miles on it. It looked perfect. It was a Kia Sedona. Next day, met him at the title place, gave him cash. We went in, we changed the title, and I drove away. I was so excited. Of course, at that time, I had 2 cars now. Because I had a Buick sedan, and then now I have a minivan. So I was so excited. I would just go and sit in it, you know. I would just go sit in it. I learned how to take the seats out, the second row seats, and the third row seats went down. And it was just exciting. I was so excited. And I know that if you were in that position, you'd be so excited too. It's so exciting. It just is. Well, I know I'm giving you a lot of details here. This might be a long one, okay? Because I don't want to miss too much, because I think it's a good story. And I think a lot of you are going to end up relating to it on the excitement of it all. And I know that some of you are really taking your time getting rid of your things or selling your things. I didn't have that luxury because I was ready to go. I was ready to go. And so I said, okay, this is it. And literally, I just started going through all of my kitchen stuff, because I sort of had a country kitchen going on, to where I had all different, a lot of curd jars, you know, sort of a country thing, where I had like this big shelf, and I had all these different rices and beans and herbs, and oh my gosh. Well, what am I going to do with all that stuff, right? And I had to throw a lot of stuff away. Sorry, I did. And I had like a open house. First, I had my one daughter-in-law and my granddaughter come in. And my granddaughter was older. She was like 17. And her stepmom. And they came in, and I let them have first pick. Take what you want. I mean, they took a lot of stuff. I mean, I had a really nice bicycle. It was kind of like made for me. Because I was older, I wanted it to fit me perfectly. And I had a house full of stuff. And they came in and took a lot of stuff. Then I had an open house for my other daughter and my son. And I said, bring some friends over. And then my grandson, he was dating a gal. He was, I think, a senior in high school. He was dating a gal, and they had her family come over. And I literally had an open house. I had put things that I knew that I wanted to keep, and I kept that in one room that I was living in. I kind of moved myself into one room. And then the very back room, I was putting things in there that I knew I was going to take for nomad life. Just for nomad life. But the rest of the house, the kitchen, the bedroom, those things, it was a free-for-all, and they could take what they wanted. And they said, well, I don't want to take all your stuff. I said, no, you're helping me out, because I'm going to have to put it out by the road. I don't have time for a yard sale or anything like that. I wasn't interested in that. My interest was getting it off my shoulders and getting it out of my hands. That was my goal. Get it away from me, because I'm so excited. But I think that might be more my personality. I know some of you are taking your more time because you want to sell your things and things like that. My good furniture, I'd already sent with my daughter into Cincinnati because she wanted some of those things. And so that was that. My second daughter, they really didn't seem interested in it. So I'd already gotten rid of some of the furniture. But they came in and took what they wanted. So in the meantime, I'm still taking stuff out to the garbage. And these big dumpsters, these big, they're great big, the green ones, but they're real big. I was actually kind of filling up my whole neighborhood because I had to get rid of this stuff. I know I had a big confessional here, but I had to get rid of it. And a lot of stuff went out by the curb. The good stuff went out by the curb. If my children said, I said, why don't you take more? They said, we don't have any more room, Mom. We can't take any more. We don't want any more. The real important stuff they did take, they knew they were mementos of mine, and they took it. So, yeah. At the end, because when I knew that I was going to move, I'd already given my 30-day notice. So, yeah, 30-day notice. And everything was good to go. They were happy with it. The landlords, I'd been with them 15 years, so we knew each other. And yeah, but it was at the very end that I got it all done. I got everything done in 30 days. Believe it or not, I did. I got it all done. And at the very end, my son and my daughter-in-law wanted the blinds that I had put up. They were wooden blinds, really nice ones. So at the very last day, my son came and took them all down and took them. And that was it. We did a walk around through the house. After 15 years, it was kind of sad, but I think I was more excited. And I got it all done. I'm shocked that I got it all done. I'm sure my neighbors weren't overly pleased with me because I was filling up in the alleys. There were the big ones, and I was just filling them up. Yeah. Yep. I just was. Okay. I do remember I did call. There were some things I put out. My son helped me put them out in the backyard, and I called Goodwill. And I said, could you come? You might want some of these things. Well, I did have a really nice desk. I thought it was really nice, but they said it just wasn't up to par. They couldn't sell it. There was a metal strip it was really nice. It was like the kind of desk that you'd find in an office building, really solid. It was heavy. Well, one of the metal strips was missing, and so they didn't want it. So my son and we carried it out to the alley. And I thought somebody will just have to come along and pick it up. But that's how I dealt with it. I threw a lot of stuff away. I just did. I didn't want it anymore. It meant nothing to me anymore. I knew that this was going to be a whole new life. All the good stuff. Because I had power tools. I had you just name it. I had those things. And I do wish I would have kept, if you do have a power screwdriver, a power drill, keep it. I just didn't think I would use it. I could probably use that, yeah. Because I got the power banks now. I wasn't into the power banks at the time. This was 7 years ago. And I didn't have anything like that. You know, something else I didn't have for the first month was a fan. I almost roasted in here because I was still in Tucson. I almost died in here. But finally I figured out, okay, I got to go get a fan. I went to Walmart and got one with the batteries. And, D batteries, they're so expensive. And it really didn't have a good motor. It wasn't until probably the first year that I actually got smart and started really getting a lot of these things. I really wasn't in the nomad world because what I did is for 3 months, I stayed in Tucson to get used to it. I was still working with my clients, and I was still, go to work in the morning. And then I was still working on things inside of my van. And by the way, my van does look totally different than what it did before. I actually brought I had a twin futon, and I brought that in here. I thought that would be perfect. Oh, that was nothing, but it was in my way. It was comfortable, but it was in my way. My van looks totally different than what it did when I first moved into the minivan 7 years ago. It's been tweaked a lot. I have everything now to where I would probably follow this design forever because it works so well. Yeah. So that's why. Now, I moved into my minivan because it seemed like the perfect time and I was planning on it, right? Like I said, I know a lot of people are moving into their vans for economical reasons. They can't afford rent anymore, or they're getting displaced because they're going to renovate it or whatever they're going to do with it. They're going to renovate it and then get a better price. So I know a lot of people are getting displaced. So if you're single and there's just one of you, and you know that you need to do this because of economics, you can't afford the rent anymore. Well, yeah, this is a good alternative than to live in a house, right? But that wasn't the reason that I did it. My rent was only $500 a month. That was it. $500, I could afford $500 a month. No big deal. So, but the catalyst was really because my daughter moved across the country. And I knew I would want to spend time with them. And I wanted to do the van life anyways. So it was like it all worked together. And everything came out roses. Yeah, I wouldn't change a thing. I really wouldn't change anything. Well, maybe tomorrow, maybe I'll continue this tomorrow, and I'll tell you what my first maybe 6-7 months was like. You know, how I got used to everything, the excitement of it all. Yeah. Well, I'm gonna go spend some more time outside, and just get out in nature. There is some snow still up here. It's kind of dirty, but there's little piles of snow here and there that haven't melted yet. So, till tomorrow, everybody. Hope you enjoyed this. I enjoy talking about it. I really do. Hope this was relaxing for you. And you found some interest in it. And maybe you could see yourself doing the same thing too. Because I wasn't rich. I was not. I think, what did I have in savings? What did I have at the time? I'm not a property owner. I'm just, getting by myself in life. I raised 4 children pretty much by myself because my husband was killed in a car accident. And I had to raise my children by myself. No, I wasn't rich. I was very frugal, putting money away. I think what I had at the time was probably about maybe $8,000 I had in savings. That was it. I mean, a lot of people, they have a portfolio, they've got stocks, bonds, mutual funds, yeah. A nice pension or whatever. That wasn't me. When I became a nomad, I was still collecting survivor's benefits. I wanted to wait to get to apply for my own Social Security until I could really build it up some more. So I was still on survivor's benefits, and it was only like $600 because he had passed away young. So he didn't have a lot built up himself. So yeah, no, I'm definitely, at the time, I was not well off at all. But I always had everything I needed. I had enough. I had everything I needed plus. So I only started out with like $8,000, and then I spent the money for the car. So when it came down to it, I kind of had to build everything back up, and I'll tell you about that tomorrow, okay? I love you guys. If you want to give me a gift, I do want to mention, one of you ordered a sticker, I believe, because you're trying to support me. I refunded your money because all of that I left in storage in Tucson. I did not want to bring that stuff with me. So I don't have any neck gaiters. I mean, and I did let everybody know, if you wanted these things, you need to get them now because I'm not going to be bringing them at the Flagstaff with me. And because I have to carry packaging, and I just don't really want the room for it. When I get back to Tucson, maybe I'll have some new products for you and things like that. So I did refund your money, whoever you are, that you did that. So if you want to support me at this point, and a lot of people do support their favorite, their beloved YouTube creators, that you can leave me a gift. Go to minivanlee.com, and I'll tell you what, I get 100% of everything. I don't have to give away. So when you're actually giving me a gift, you're giving me a gift, not Patreon a gift or PayPal a gift or something like that. No, you're just giving me the whole gift. I get 100% of it. So, and I have all amounts, $5, $10, $50 if you want to give me a gift. So if you want to do that, go to minivanlee.com, and you don't have to. You just don't. But if you want to give something, or if you want to support me, there you go. What else? Oh, the book, How to Live in a Minivan, the Minivan Lee Way. That's on Amazon. So just type in Minivan Lee, and I will come up, okay? Okay, till tomorrow, and I'll continue this, okay? Bye. Mwah.